short but certain death. He hadn't had an answer. I stepped out tentatively, and my bare feet sank into the muddy sand, crab holes bubbling. "Come here," I waved at the bird, gripping the gate. The goose flapped and squeaked. Her babies gathered together, a terrified bundle of fluff. I looked out of the water again, seemed to spy 100 black ripples that could have been croc eyes. The sun was down. It was their time now. "Come here, you stupid bitch." I sucked in a gutful of air, rushed forward and lunged at the bird. Missed, lunged again, and gathered it upside down in a tangle of bones and limbs and claws and feathers. It snapped at my nose, ear, eyebrow, drew blood. The chicks scattered, reformed, clicking and squealing, an infantile rendition of their mother's noise. I turned and threw the goose into my yard. The chicks followed, drawn along in a frantic row by some instinctive fishing line. I slammed the gate closed, ran up the yard, and grabbed a towel that had been hanging on the veranda rail, leaving the gun sitting on the step. On the way to the vet, the big bird and her chicks stuffed into a cardboard box. The squealing got to me. It was a heartbreaking distress siren. I yelled, "Jesus! Shut up, woman!" I guess her name was Woman from that moment on. In the sterile light of the vet's office, the bird seemed smaller somehow, peering from the bottom of the box at the man who had opened the door for me. She and the chicks were revealed united, a panting mound of crooked feathers in the dark. They were all silent now. I stood back so the vet couldn't smell my breath. But from the disdain on his face, as he'd watched my hack parking job and my bare sandy feet coming up the drive, I was fairly sure he had me pegged. I folded my arms and tried not to take up too much of his tiny examination room with my hulk. The vet didn't seem to have recognized me yet, so I took a chance and spoke up as he lifted the struggling woman out of the box, wincing as she snapped at his collar. "She can't walk on that foot there," I said. "Yep. Looks fractured. This wing, too." I watched as he folded the goose into her natural shape, reassembling the barely contained terror mess that she was until her feet were beneath her thick, round frame and her wings lay flat against her sides. The bird looked around the room, black eyes big and wild. The vet squeezed her gently all over, lifted her tail, and looked at her fluffy rear. "So I'll just leave her with you, I guess," I clapped in summation, startling the bird. "Well, that's up to you, Mr. Collins," I lied. "That's up to you, Mr. Collins, but you're aware we don't have the resources for unpaid treatment here?" "Ah, no, I wasn't aware." "No, we can't treat this animal without compensation." I scratched my head. "I found her, though." "Yes," the vet agreed. "Well, I mean, she's not mine. Doesn't belong to me." "You've said," the vet nodded. "So, that's not my goose," I pointed to Woman. Tried to tighten up my slurred speech in case that was why I was being misunderstood. "Neither are they," I pointed at the chicks. "They're dumped, I suppose. Abandoned. Don't you people rescue abandoned animals?" "We people. Vets." He gave me a long stare. "This is not a native Australian goose. This is an answer. A domesticated goose. It's an introduced species in this country. I'm afraid a wildlife rescue wouldn't treat it either." "Well, what will you do with her?" I asked. "If I just leave her here with you?" The vet stared again. I blinked under the fluorescent lights. Their gentle humming filled the room like gas. "Christ," I said. "Well, okay. This is a business, I suppose. You can't just go around rescuing everything for free."